Hello and welcome to China's Media Stars on Itv-Asia. I'm Weina Li. I have Cameron Andersen with me in the studio today. Some of you probably have already recognized him. He's the presenter of a very popular TV travel show called Getaway, as well as a few other programs on ICS and Dragon TV. Is that right?
That's right.
Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
It really is.
So normally you are the interviewers, you are the host.
That's right.
How does it feel to switch roles and share your story with us today?
Well, it's kind of funny to be on the other side of the interview because normally I'm the one that's thinking, okay, what kind of questions did I can ask that's different and interesting? Now I'm like, okay, what kind of response can I say that's different and interesting?
Well, you don't have to worry about that. You just said you're really spontaneous.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I think this is more relaxing, I think.
Oh, that's great. You should come back more often.
Yeah.
So people know you as a presenter in Shanghai or as well as in China.
Yeah.
But probably lots of us don't really realize that prior to that, you were a lawyer in profession. You have a promising career. So why give up your career as a lawyer and join the media industry?
Well, for me, I always think that once a lawyer, always a lawyer. Right. Once you get that degree and you're admitted as a lawyer, then you will never be, you will never lose that skill.
Yeah.
So I was never afraid of sort of losing that career.
Okay.
But I was kind of like, it was very interesting. My life, from a very young age, was always set as being a lawyer.
Okay.
Father's a lawyer, sister's a lawyer. My mother worked as a lawyer in a lawyer's firm as a secretary. It was all about law.
It's really natural you became a lawyer.
So I became a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Studied law, came to China for law.
Okay.
And but to change the career, I think, was sort of interesting way to sort of bring my personality and my job together, because my personality does not necessarily match law. It does in certain aspects. If you watch Liar Liar,
yeah.
Jim Carrey, he was
yeah.
but that's in Hollywood. There aren't too many lawyers like that, unless you're an attorney in America or something who's very, very out there.
Well, I can see you in a suit, join the meeting with the lawyers, but I feel it's more natural probably you sitting here, being...
Yeah, exactly. It's more sort of a place where you can relax, but it's also, in a lawyer, you don't need to have a good personality.
Okay.
If you have no personality, you can be an awesome lawyer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right? You just need to get the facts right and know very precisely what you're about to say.
Yeah.
But to be a presenter, you must be interesting. And people were saying, Cameron, sometimes you're a bit too interesting and not as analytical.
As what you were a lawyer.
As a lawyer should be,
You told me some stories just now about when you were a lawyer, people really enjoy chatting with you.
Well, it would sometimes be that I'd have a meeting with the client to advise on very serious issues. We'd be talking about investing, setting up, their establishment in China and all their legal responsibilities. Okay. And by the end of it, we'd be cracking up, laughing, and talking about all this stuff. And they'd be saying, "So when are we going to meet up for lunch?" And they'd come to the firm looking for Cameron, not to have a meeting about the file, but
just to have
let's go out and you got some time. And the boss would be thinking, Cameron, okay. You should be spending more time on the law, but these clients like you.
Yeah, you bring more business.
Right, it's sort of like
right.
So it was interesting. Yeah.
But how did it all started with the presenting career?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of I don't know, it kind of dovetailed.
Okay.
I was doing law, I was in China, and being me, I was out there. I was enjoying life. I was doing a lot of attending a lot of events. Okay. And getting my face out there, so people started to sort of recognize me from the TV industry. Okay. And I did some travel with some friends. One of the secretaries from the law firm, her name's Jenny, and a lot of her friends. We had some photographers, Lao Zhang. We took us out to some weekend excursions to places nearby Shanghai, in Shanghai, and take photos of the old houses that are about to be demolished and preserve that image forever. Yeah, definitely. And through that, actually Lao Zhang, who's the photographer, he was asked to be a guest on the show Getaway. Oh, okay. But he's too shy. And he said, I know this foreigner who's crazy. He's great and he'll be perfect for the show. So he said, bring Anlong on. Wow. My Chinese name is Anlong.
Anlong, yeah.
So even though I'm Cameron Andersen, but Anlong, Ping An, the An, Itialong, the Long.
Okay, why Anlong, Ping An, and
Well, because you know it's from Andersen is An.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that my name is a name that I would respond to.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I own the surname. You know, so An and Long because I like martial arts.
Oh, okay.
So Long, you know, An Long, and then I needed to confirm. You know, does this name exist? Is it possible that Chinese people would accept this as a name?
Yeah.
And yes.
And it worked very, very well.
There's Anlong County, there's Anlong Lu
in
Shanghai, so it's great. So that's how I got the name. But getting back to the story,
yes.
The getaway wanted Lao Zhang to be on, but he put me on. So I went on, was a guest to take the host around, around Shanghai to sort of look at all the old buildings. And then I started doing things that they didn't really expect. You know, we went to an old retirement place where the people who are over 50 or 60 are learning to dance, learning other languages, learning to paint.
Oh, that's interesting.
You'd think it would be interesting, but kind of boring, slow paced.
Okay, yeah.
But I got these AIs up dancing. We were all dancing, and I had them in a group. I was breakdancing in the middle.
Wow.
And we had this shot of these eyes. We're all clapping their hands. They're going crazy. One of them put my sunglasses on, and I'm in the middle doing the windmill dance. You know how they do in the dance. And then they'd never seen, you know, the way that someone could connect with the local population in such an interesting way. So they thought, wow, this is fresh. This is different. So they gave me a call and said, you know, why don't we, you know, put you on board to try to do one episode by yourself.
Wow.
So I was the only person hosting that episode. We went to Shaoxing.
Okay.
And I did the first episode. It was very interesting. It was fun because I found out that this is something that I can do.
Okay.
You know, I like to entertain. I like to make people laugh.
Yeah,
it's something that's easy for me to do. Sometimes people think, to make someone laugh, oh, that's so tough. You've got to think about a joke.
Yeah.
I never say jokes.
So
I don't like jokes.
It's all your natural instinct.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not a joke person. You know how you have set jokes?
Yeah.
I just like to have humorous conversations.
Okay, so the great sense of humor is in your personality.
Yeah.
It's not act. So
and I couldn't really use that in law.
You know,
I mean,
it's such a waste.
it was very dangerous. You know, I was in court in Australia.
Yeah.
And I was really, you know, the judge was so serious. I mean, he was, you know, we're here today, and I'm like, oh, you sure? I can't do that, or else I'll be kicked out.
So, you can't try to make a judge laugh.
No. So that was one part that I, you know, enjoyed changing TV.
So that's naturally, you know, changing to a presenter as your career.
Yeah, just flowed into it, and then after that, you know, I got asked to do more shows, and eventually they started to really like it, cottoned on, and they wanted me to do more and more. It came to a stage where all my annual leaves were used up, sick leave was used up, and I just couldn't make any more excuses for me to be away from the job to do, you know, filming Getaway. So I decided to change my career.
That's when you started to leave your career.
Well, my 3-year contract was up with the law firm, so I didn't renew the contract and decided to sort of, you know, rough it out in TV.
Wow. Was that in 2008? Or?
Yep, 2008,
so
2 years ago.
You've been a presenter for about 2 years.
Already, yeah.
But you have some great achievement for a presenter, because just be 2 years, you've been awarded as 2009 ICS Best Presenter,
right?
As well as 2008 China Radio TV Host Gold Award. How did you achieve that?
Oh, well, it was actually for one episode I did in Wuzhen.
Oh, okay.
It was the first episode where we tried the concept of having split personalities, so 2 Anlongs.
Okay.
And we did it. It was very interesting and it was very successful. And it was set out to be judged by a panel of judges, you know, against all other Chinese TV programs.
Okay.
And it won the Gold Award, which was for 2008 the best host. And I was like, wow, this is the first time this was the first time a foreign language show had won that award.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was like, this is a sign that I'm in the right career.
Definitely.
You know, after 1 year, you think, okay, now people are going to sort of accept me. But after 1 year receiving an award like that, I was like, this is happening too fast. But I was welcome. I was happy, you know.
Yeah,
keep it going, you know.
People love you, you know.
Yeah,
your humor on the TV.
So I was very very happy, you know, to know that what I was doing was right.
Okay.
So I'm happy to continue on that path.
But you also hosting a show in Dragon TV.
Yeah.
You know, the whole show in Chinese. And do you see it as a great advantage that you're a foreigner but you speak fluent Chinese, or are there any challenges?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the main thing that's good about being a foreigner speaking Chinese is that people are very happy to just see I'm having a go. Because to this day there are a lot of Chinese people that speak a lot of English, but not too many foreigners that speak Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's becoming more popular. In the entertainment industry, there's not too many.
Yeah.
So for me to have a go at making some Chinese jokes, it's really funny when I actually hit the joke on the head and people laugh. It's amazing. So I say, if you can joke in Chinese, then you can learn Chinese.
Wow.
You're the man. You know how to speak Chinese. But the other hard part is that when you're in the entertainment industry, you need to be able to be sort of one step ahead of the Chinese viewers.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that's hard for Chinese people to do. To say something
Just before you.
Yeah, I mean you've got the Chinese viewers that are watching a Chinese host, and the Chinese people that say, "Wow, his Chinese is very good."
Yeah, definitely.
That's about a Chinese host. So for me to be able to be on the same level of having these Chinese people saying, "Wow, he said something really interesting there," it's kind of a lot of pressure, but I like to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you have some great responses, people love you. Maybe that's what keeps it going.
Yeah, I kind of like, if they say something that I don't understand, I like to use my lawyer brain, switch into the lawyer mode, because, if your opposition, the defendant and the plaintiff, the defendant says something that you didn't expect, you have to know on the spot how to rebut that argument.
Wow.
So it's kind of like debating, right? Someone says something to me, and then if I don't understand, I have to play with their words and change the meaning and fold it back onto them.
Okay.
So it's kind of like put the own words back into you.
Wow.
And then you go, oh.
That's so unexpected.
Yeah, it's
so
like ping pong show, right?
Yeah. So your lawyer career actually add value to your presenting career. That's unexpected
totally.
as well.
Yeah, that's something that I really think would help me for my whole career, because lawyers need to know how to speak and respond and react in a split second.
Yeah,
and hosts too as well. So that's a good combination.
Yeah, definitely. Well, some of the hosts, I know that they, when they're on the stage, they're totally different person when they're holding a mic. They're energetic, active, but they actually have a very quiet personality. Are you one of them? Or
well, yeah, it's kind of like the microphone is some kind of magnet.
Yeah, it's like a
they're like this, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like
Is that who you are? Or
well, I'm kind of like yee the whole time.
The whole time.
If the microphone's here, the only thing I do different is instead of looking at people, I look at the camera.
Oh.
So I'll be speaking to you, ha ha ha, then put the microphone like yeah. So it's the same.
So it's like what you told me just now. You look at a camera as a person, and you're talking to a person. You actually communicate.
That's right, because many times when people look at the camera, they get lost in this black hole. It's something that's kind of you get lost in the black hole, and you don't realise that people are saying something back to you.
Yeah, there's no response.
You lose your words.
Yeah, that's true.
But after a while, I realised, hey, how you doing? I'm speaking to people on the couch. It's like right now there are people right now watching you. You might be on the computer, with your mouse around like this, looking around, maybe falling asleep, and I've got to be looking in your eyes.
Yeah.
So then I realised the camera is a friend. It's someone who's alive, someone who's has an interest span that might not stay with me.
Wow.
So sort of intrigued with the camera. That's right with you guys.
That's a great finding. When did you realize that? And at the beginning, were you nervous or?
Yeah, at the beginning, because I don't really know what nervous feels like. I don't know why, but I found out that I was a little bit lost.
Oh, okay.
I was saying something, but I was a little bit lost in my train of thought because I was focusing so much on this black hole of nothingness. There was no depth in what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And after a while, I realized, actually, you know how I got it?
Yeah.
After I watched myself on TV for the first time.
Oh, okay. So you really can see yourself.
Exactly.
What is,
Now that's rare, not many people get to do that, right? So after seeing myself I was looking into my eyes.
Oh, okay.
If you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to myself.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, that's not how you speak normally. So I'm like,
that's not you.
Yeah. So then I realized what I looked like on TV and how I spoke. So I'm like, okay, no, now I know I'm speaking to myself. I'm speaking to someone. So let's not, act like I'm speaking to a camera. Act like I'm speaking to anyone I'd meet on the street.
So there's no acting part on your show. If people want to know the real you, watch your program.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
There are some times where I like to act to make things a bit more humorous.
Okay.
But you know that's all part and parcel of TV.
Yeah.
Like all my reactions are genuine. They are real. I just sometimes put more emphasis on them just so it looks more fun for TV, you know.
Wow.
Maybe if I burn my finger, I'll be like, ah, but if I burn my finger, ah! You know, just magnify it a bit.
Wow, that's great. And then how do you see as a good quality to be a presenter from your own experience?
Right, so the main attributes of a good presenter, right? Well, I've never studied presenting. You know, a lot of people go to school and learn this.
Yeah.
So from a technical aspect, I'd say I might not be an authority, but having 2 years' experience, I think that things can be more simple than they appear.
Okay.
You know, anyone can be a presenter if they have the right personality.
So what are they?
I think mainly the big point for being a presenter is to have confidence in yourself.
Okay.
You know, knowing that you have no limitations. That way, when you're in front of the camera, you can totally focus on the job at hand, not focus on protecting yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
So you shouldn't be acting on camera, just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. If you're confident in yourself, that means you're willing to show everything inside you to the population of all of China. You know, you don't want to hide anything because you know everything inside is good.
Yeah.
You're happy with who you are.
Yeah.
So you're happy to let that, you know, out on the TV screens for everyone to see. That's one thing.
Like you said, maybe many people are suitable for being a presenter, but it's hard to get that part of their body, like really be themselves.
Yeah, to just release.
Yeah,
you know?
And you did it.
So because I always found that I never hid my inner feelings. I always said them out loud, and I was always more outspoken and enjoyed sort of just speaking off the cuff and saying whatever I wanted.
Well, that's the part of your lawyer quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Be confident.
Yeah. But I think another aspect of being a host is you also need to understand that the show is about you, but it's about the viewers, really. Okay. So when you're presenting, you need to have this understanding that whatever you're doing is being watched very closely by thousands of people that have totally different opinions, totally different backgrounds, and totally different points of view on what you just said. So you have to have this understanding that what I'm saying is not necessarily agreeable, but you need to understand that when you say something, you take into account that people will need to sort of grasp what you're saying. Not, you know, just I'm the person who understands it. If I say something I understand, people will be lost. Like, well, what do you mean?
Can you give us an example? Like
well, there are a few things like simple things, right? Let's speak simply. When you're explaining how something tastes, right? Now, if you know maybe a presenter that doesn't have much experience is saying, "Wow, this tastes really great." Yeah. You know, that's it. But for me, I need to sort of go into it closer and say, you know, this sort of food, I'd love to eat it on a porch because, you know, it brings out that feeling of freedom, because when you take the mouthful, it suddenly bursts into your taste buds, this cool feeling of this mint with a hint of spice. And it sort of, you know, plays around in the palate. And then when you swallow it and then breathe out, you have this feeling of the spice that kind of sets your mouth on fire. So you reach for the ice cold water, and you need to be outside for that.
Well, when you relate that to a situation, then, you know, everybody will imagine they were being there.
Yeah, or they might remember. They're like, oh, I was there.
So that's what I love about Getaway, you know, the travel show. It seems like I was there to travel with you. Or, that's probably maybe a lot of audience love the show as well. Yeah,
they're kind of like in their own home, but they're like, oh, I just came back from France.
Exactly. That's the show I was. I really loved it.
Good.
And although the show is hosted in English, the Getaway, but you are working in Chinese media.
Right.
Do you find Chinese media and Western media was differently? I mean, what are the differences?
Well, one of the funny things is, in terms of Western media, I'm a viewer. In terms of Chinese media, I'm a participator. I'm a creator. So I've had experience from two different angles. You know? From the Western aspect, Western TV is very, very structured. It has, every program has its own run sheet, its own Bible.
Okay.
You know, the book that sort of everyone needs to run by.
Or follow the rules.
Yeah, and whereas in China, that it's sort of like an open style.
Okay.
Try whatever you want. Now that's got good and bad connotations. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes if you have an unlimited spectrum of what you can film, then the room for creativity is very large.
Yeah.
So you can sort of do things that you might not necessarily be able to do in the Western TV.
You draw on a plain paper.
Yeah.
And do whatever.
Yeah, so you can just try
More
some
freedom.
crazy things.
Yeah.
It might work, it might not work. But in the West, it's more planned and structured, which is also good.
Okay.
Because in the West, you have many productions that are so well planned that they just come across as amazing productions that you would really never expect
Okay.
to sort of see anywhere else.
Okay.
Because they just have it done so well.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that China has time to work on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I would love to be involved more in the television industry, is to
Yeah.
help bring this Western influence into the Chinese TV. So
Okay.
then the Chinese television can develop its own style of TV,
Okay.
but also to the level that can bring it up to par with Western TV in terms of quality and regulation. Not in terms of content, but in
Yeah.
terms of presentation.
Okay. Have you seen the changes already in the past 5 years from as a viewer,
Yeah.
as well as an insider? Have you seen the changes?
Oh, there's been some huge changes. I mean,
Okay.
previously a lot of the Chinese TV was very, very fixed in what you would be saying and what would be
Okay.
broadcast. Now, the reality shows are just going crazy.
You have no script on your show,
No
right?
script.
For the gateway.
And it's, you know, what you see is what you get.
Wow.
You know, a lot of them are based on Western shows.
Okay.
So it's still not necessarily China finding its own feet in the
Yeah.
TV industry. It's more taking strides in the shoes of the Western industry, which is fine because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You learn through the experience of others, you know. So I think there's still a long way to go, but I think the road is very, very, I'd say, interesting. You know, there's a lot of turns and twists that can be taken in Chinese TV.
Wow, it's great. It's great to hear that we are improving and
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
see the changes already.
It's definitely improving.
Thank you, Cameron. It's been great talking to you, to
Yeah.
hear about your stories, to know about your insight about Chinese media. And I hope to see you in my show soon.
I think that's guaranteed.
That's
Definitely.
great. Thank you. So that's it from us today. I'm Weina Lee. Stay tuned with China's media stars on ITV-Asia. I will come back next time with more guests.
Stay tuned.
Join with me soon.